Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Cafe Bagheri's kitchen. Today we're going back to making a Persian khoresh. This one's going to be Khoresh-e Karafs, which is a celery stew. This is a standard khoresh technique like we have made before, ghemeh and korme sabzi, but it's on the simpler side. It's got some herbs that we put in there, and you got the signature vegetable, which is celery, and you get your lamb or beef. By the way, you can make this khoresh with chicken as well. Chicken thigh is recommended. This one is beef for stew that I got from store. And we have onion. And if you notice, I have some pieces of some scallion I had in the refrigerator. I just chopped up and added to the onion. You can see the recipe in the comments below, by the way. So anything from the onion family works here. As you can see, I saved some of the leaves from celery as well that I'm going to chop really fine. Push these aside like that, and we're going to bring in our mints. This is one of the few stews that have fresh mint in them, by the way. And it gives it a very nice signature flavor. I'm going to push this back with the celery leaves. Now we're bringing our parsley. As you can see, I've removed the thickest stems from the parsley with the mints also, but leave most of them in there because they're good in flavor and have a lot of the vitamins and the good stuff that you want in your herbs. So I think this is good enough. All of our herbs are chopped fine and mixed. Now we're going to move to sautéing our chopped herbs and celery. So once your oil is hot enough to be shimmering, there you go. You put the chopped herbs in there. We're going to add our celery. At the beginning, give it a good stir to make sure everything is mixed. And then now we're going to occasionally stir it to make sure all the sides of the celery pieces and the vegetable get to cook and become golden around the edges. After each stir, whenever you're stirring something in a frying pan or in your pot or Dutch oven, whatever, you do one of these shakes to equalize, to make sure everything's resettled in an even level. There. It's been about, I would say, 3-4 minutes on medium high. As you can see, the edges are now golden on celery. And the herbs are getting darker. This is where we want it to be. So I'm going to push them off and turn off this eye. And we're going to bring the pot in which we're going to make our stew. In this case, I have this trusty thick pot that I use, not a Dutch oven, but it's kind of like that. If you're making a double or triple batch of this stew, use a Dutch oven or a big pot that you usually make your stews in. On medium high here, we put 3 tablespoons of neutral vegetable oil here and heat it up. Then we're going to saute our onions and proceed to put our khoresh together. So while I'm getting the oil heated for the next stage, I'm going to make sure that my chopped beef is completely dry. I don't want any moisture on this meat. because I want to get that browning. When I'm frying it at the beginning, you have to start by sauteing the meat. I want to make sure there is no moisture on this beef. Otherwise, it starts sweating and you don't get the flavor levels that you want. Our oil is hot enough now, shimmering, and we're going to put our chopped onions in there. We're going to cook the onions in that hot oil until you get some golden browning on the edges. It's starting to change color on the edges, as you can see, getting some golden color. We're now ready to add our turmeric. Now, let me show you one thing here. You've seen this in a couple other videos that I do. This is my technique of making sure I keep the order of all the ingredients, spices, and flavors that I want to add to my dish. So I lay them down in this order so that I remember when it's time for which items to go in together. Right now I'm going to add the turmeric and the tomato paste in there together, because the tomato paste has to get sauteed and bloom, if you will, with the turmeric and onions. And this helps to get the aroma of turmeric opened up. So keep stirring the tomato paste. And about a minute or two, still on medium high. We're now ready to add our meat. There you go. This is our stew meat going in. So you want to start stirring this for all the pieces of meat to start changing color. Once every 20-30 seconds, stir this. Once all the sides of these meat chunks have changed color, then we are ready to add our celery and herbs. I think we're where we can add our herbs and celery into the pot with the meat and onions. So you want to stir this to get a consistent mix. Cook this for a couple of minutes, stirring occasionally. Now we are ready to add our liquid, which is chicken broth. There are versions of this recipe that uses just water, hot water. I have kind of kicked it up a notch in flavor and use chicken broth instead of water. I think it adds to the umami factor of this recipe. There you go. So give it a good stir. And then we want to bring this to a boil. Okay, we have a rolling boil here. This is the point where we kind of give it another stir and bring it down to low and put the lid on the pot and let this thing simmer for 2 hours. So during the 2 hours, about twice or three times, you open the pot and stir, and then put the lid back on. Do another check and stir. Okay, as you can see, the liquid level is a little low. I think I had it a little too high. I just lowered it. you should have some hot water or hot chicken broth on hand. I'm going to add another half a cup of water. I was out of chicken broth, so I added water. It's been 2 hours, and if we had to add a little bit of liquid, it's been simmering, and it looks perfect right now. At 2 hours is when we add the salt and pepper and a little bit of my own touch. This is Worcestershire sauce, which is what I add to this Khoresh to give it a little tang and a little umami, if you will. For those of you who have not tried it or don't know what it is a tamarind-based sauce, liquid sauce. The last touch before we go for the final stretch, which is optional. I like a little bit of heat in all of my Persian stews, but it's not necessary if you don't want any heat in it, any spice. This is cayenne. You can do Aleppo pepper, any kind of chili pepper that you like, okay? So just a smidge. As you can see, it's just a touch of it, a dash, if you will. Just give it a good stir. So we got our salt, pepper, tamarind, and cayenne. By the way, if you don't have Worcestershire sauce, you can put tamarind paste or tamarind sauce. You can get it from Indian, Middle Eastern, Indo-Pak, or African grocery stores. And it really elevates this Khoresh much. So we're going to go in another 30 minutes and we'll be ready to serve this. Look at this. It smells wonderful. This stew is all ready, except we're going to have to do one final taste check. Be careful not to burn yourself. You know what? It's perfect. I think it doesn't need anything. If it did at this point, I would add salt, pepper, or if you think that the tamarind sauce that you put in there didn't give it enough of a tangy taste, you can add a final dash of fresh lime juice. Awesome and ready to go. And what I've done here is I have a bowl of quick and easy Persian Cathay. We have a recent video on this that I've got ready with some saffron on it. I'm just gonna put some of this Khoresh in here. This makes a perfect weeknight dinner for you coming home after work. On the account that you can, like all Persian Khoreshes, you can make this Khoresh ahead of time. In fact, it's recommended that you make this a day or two ahead for best flavor. Look at this. And this is a perfect dinner. Celery Khoresh, Khoresh-e Karafs, and Persian Cathay rice. There it is. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. If you did, like this video. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell button so you can get notifications when new videos and posts are on the channel. And please come back here very soon and let's cook some great food together again. Oh, yum. Look at this. Come check this out. Look at this. Oh, you want some of this, don't you? Oh, yes, you do. No. Come on. Wonderful.